Welcome back, fellow nerdians. Tis I, head Cenobite himself, Mike G, presenting you once again with one of the tales of the Nerdiverse. We call this segment MOTN Lore, where we do a deep dive into one of the Nerdiverse's objects of power and decide how powerful is it really, and give you a conversation and not an education on the subject. But back with me is my partner in crime. If I'm Pinhead, he's definitely. You want to be Chatterer? Are you more like Chatterer?
Oh, I can be
Wash?
Chatterer, man. That's cool. That works for
Yeah,
me.
Chatterer rules, dude.
Yeah, I'm
Chatterer
fine
is
with that.
how we living.
Oh,
Wash, what's going on?
I thank you. That's my intro. I'm in. Hey,
That's
everybody.
yeah.
We're here. Oh, yeah, chattering away. Everything's well, man. I'm looking forward to hopping. I don't know where I was. I was somewhere else, and then it's
Now
like,
at the Leviathan, Doug.
oh,
You
all
just
right, I'm
you got
back.
they just yanked you back. You're in the Leviathan, bro. That's
I
okay.
kind of
Sometimes we're
half
there.
went in, so you know what I mean. I was like, no, I
Tiptoeing,
want to stay.
stay where?
Yeah,
What is? Yeah.
stay here, not
You
go
don't
to the portal of hell.
you don't want to go to the hell dimension, Doug, where it's just speed metal and leviathans and stuff,
You
man.
you know me, Mike. I'm really up for anything. Like if the starship comes down, I'll hop on, no questions asked, that type of thing. But portal to hell, nah, man, I'm good.
But that's what we're here to ask, right? Is Hellraiser indeed about hell? Are these actual demons, or because that's a question, right? That's a question to be asked from these censor knots, I would say. you know. So let's get right into it today. Our MOTN lore is brought to you by the Lament Configuration. Once you pop, you just can't stop.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. He just keeps
Bruh,
coming back for more, man. Just keep
this
coming back
thing,
for more.
speaking of coming back for more, this thing is interesting as hell, only because it really is just one of the most unique items in pop culture. You know what I mean? Like, I can't think. It's got to be up there with like Freddy's claw and Jason's hockey mask, and what I'm
And
saying, like Mount
this is the
Rushmore.
I
You
mean,
know,
I don't want to get to the end before we get to the beginning, but it is a unique item. And that is one of the things that makes it very interesting. There are not a ton of these things cruising around. And even when you look at quote unquote real life occult type of things, there are not many puzzle boxes that have been linked to, you know, hell dimensions.
right? That we know of. That have been documented. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I've
So
never seen one.
I saw one, but I put it back, bro. I was like, oh, that's interesting, and I got a crazy aura from it, and just gonna put that back and get this pack of Pokemon cards instead. Dog. That's a puzzle I'll play.
That's
Not this thing.
that's what a lot of folks should have done, but they did not.
Well, no, that's kind of what it ties into. What is the puzzle box, right? Also known as the Le Marchand box, the box of sorrow that in this universe is pretty much the portal to the sensor dimension. I like to call it. These boxes. I just come to find out there's multiple boxes that were just floating around, but only certain of them are still in rotation. And this is the most famous one. And once you open the box, you welcome in what? Its custodians. What would you call
Well,
them?
it's sensory pleasures.
Yeah.
Isn't that the tale? Pleasure is unknown. I can't think of the catch line from the original Hellraiser, but yes, I mean by opening the box, you are opening a what's the you know man, I'm really bad at this. I'm really bad at this talking
No.
thing. Um,
Oh, you're fine,
A box,
bro.
all Pandora's box. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
you open
it
up.
is a box full of treats that are not necessarily treats.
Yeah, man. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. It's kind of the antith is kind of what the box is. You get what you pay for. And if you salt this, what's crazy about the box is that it's a MacGuffin, right? Just like Indiana Jones and the Temple in the Last Crusade, it was the Cup of Christ. You know what I mean? There's always objects that are like, we gotta go get it before the bad guys do, or it's the end of the world. No, you're trying to get the box away from you. The box is you're drawn to the box.
You're
You know what I
drawn
mean?
to the box,
It
and
finds a
you
way
know
to you. You know?
what's really unique about this box is that and the Hellraiser in general is it kind of stays within a family, which is kind of weird. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like the 16th century, you know, French artist has went and just cursed his entire family.
This is time Hellraiser
It-
blood. That's a good question. Like for research for this, what movies did you actually watch?
I did not get to watch 2022. Unfortunately, my
That's okay.
Disney Plus
We can talk
membership
very
did not
lightly
allow
about it.
that. But you're talking Hellraiser 1, 2, 3,
You know what I mean?
4. Was it called 4? I don't know about 4. And then I caught part of the early Hellraisers in the early 2000s, whatever they were called. But we
Yeah,
kind of
there's
fell
like
off a little bit when they started going direct to, you know, streaming and DVD, and it's like, oh, all right.
I'll tell you the homework to do. You watch Hellraiser 1, Hellraiser 2, Hellbound. You watch Hellraiser 3. Most
Yep.
importantly, you watch Bloodline. Bloodline is super important to the lore. And maybe the most recent one, 2022, just because it's different and new. Even in this picture, this is a picture of the box from 2022 because I love that design so much. It's so cool. Like you open this box, the adversaries of wherever this is, because hell, Pinhead himself is like, yeah, hell is just the word. You know what I mean? Demons to some, angels to others. What we offer, you can't buy. You know what I mean? And that's pain and pleasure indivisible.
Well, yeah, that's important, indivisible, because it's not like you get one or the other.
Or the
And
other, you get
and
both.
and the pleasure part of this is not necessarily pleasure once you have pleasure. It's kind of the definition of no, it's pleasurable. Oh,
Yeah, man.
really?
Eating ice cream is just one sensory thing away from stubbing your toe.
But you eat ice cream and you get the whole tooth frost
Brain
brain freeze
freeze.
phase. Pain and pleasure, and you're going, is it really worth it? Man, this hurts. I don't know. So the puzzle box is a world full of trouble. That's what the puzzle box is.
or
But a lot of
or a
folks,
blessing. Depends on who you
uh,
are.
uh, uh, what intrigues me as a person who's not into
Into
puzzles
that.
necessarily is just in general not a big puzzle guy. In fact, I just recently found out there's like world record timed puzzle competitions where
Oh
they
yeah.
put together puzzles for time. Seems exhausting. At any rate, um, we're talking about people, the box searching out people. So it's like not only do you find this puzzle box and you're drawn to this puzzle box, but you set up the whole occult thing. You're like, nah, for some reason I'm gonna light some candles,
I need
I'm gonna sit
candles
down, I'm gonna
lit,
pray, I'm gonna
a
be
nice
sitting in
little
a dark
Moscato.
room. Right. And we're gonna figure out the puzzle box. And I just can't say I've ever been that committed.
Nah, it's like, have you ever done a ceremony to start playing a video game? All about this new video game, man. I'm gonna order me a pizza. I'm gonna turn the lights down low. I'm gonna put it on the speaker. I gotta give you a nice little beer. We're gonna crack this game up and we're gonna figure it out tonight. It's the same thing. You know, it's all ritual. We're all creatures of habit, creatures of ritual, dog. It's a celebration. I got the box, man. I figured it out. Now it's time to really dig in and see what this thing can do. And then you
Yeah,
learn real quick, you
I
know?
got the box, but a couple of these people didn't even know what the box was. They're like, "Ooh, look at this box. Look,
That's a
you know
good
what?
segue, dude.
I'm just gonna hang out and play with this box for a little while.
Speaking of like the people who didn't know what it was, and that kind of ties into its importance in the lore, right? The lore of Hellraiser. And from my understanding, these Cenobites have been around well long before Lamarchand created the box.
Right.
Cenobites have been around for eons since the fall of the fall of Lucifer, right?
It's hell.
Or
So
it's yeah. So, and you don't find the devil with pointy ears and hooves and feet. You find an obelisk in the middle of the great Leviathan, and it shows you things, Doug. So it's like, how important to you is the box within the Hellraiser lore?
For me, without the box, there is no Hellraiser. Simply because at the heart of the series, it really does form around this family, and so much of it is tied to uh, what are they? The Cottons? Is that their last
Yeah,
name? The
with
Christy
Kirsty Cotton.
Cottons. Uh, Co-
Hmm.
Cri- it very much gives you uh, Amityville horror type of vibe. So for
Hmm.
me, without the box and the gateway to hell and this family, it's like, what do you got? I mean, you need the box.
Yeah,
No one's walking around opening portals without it.
I like Hellraiser because it reminds me a lot of like zombie movies, right? It's like the zombies are there and they're creepy and they're scary, but the movie is really about the people, right? It's always about the people and what drives them and how they fail and how they succeed. And the Cottons, with Frank being like the bad egg uncle who kind of in so facto brings them into this world that they would have been completely unaware of because he was playing with the box, happened to leave it at the house. Kirsty finds it. No, actually, Julia finds it, finds him, because he was resurrected with the blood of the father, and that kind of starts up the hey, I can't stay here for long because they'll get me. Who's they? The Cenobite. So it's like the box in and to itself is more like the catalyst to the story. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Me and you were just talking about like surviving a zombie apocalypse, and it's like, what would be the catalyst of the fall? Like, who's patient zero, right? What's the start of all of it? And I think all of these movies, even with the ones that are outside of the curse of the Cotton family, like Bloodline and like even Hellraiser 3, it's just like you kind of come across it happenstance, but then you're locked in this world. You know what I mean?
And yes, now that you mention it like that, I would very much like to see a hell. I know, please don't come at me for what I'm about to say. It's just
No,
a
no.
as example, but like a Hellraiser prehistoric BC. You know what I mean? And
I feel you.
right, and so you really get to see the hell part of it, or whatever case, wherever you want to go with it, but seeing those early origins of not necessarily the Lament configuration, but hell, the Cenobites, um that influence and what shape it took to get to where we are currently. Yeah,
There's a
I
there's
think
a
yeah.
throwaway line. It's a throwaway line in Hellraiser Bloodline where Angelique, who was the original demon, who was summoned from the first Lermarchand box, and she meets Pinhead, and she just kind of looks at him, and he tells her, "Well, hell is a lot more ordered than it was back in your time." Mind you, this is like 300 something years ago, so it tells you that there's a progression of time
Yes.
in the lament dimension or whatever that is. So to see, let's say, a prehistoric Cenobite, what
Right.
does that look like?
Right, and
You know?
especially the Leviathan just being at the head of it all the entire
Yeah.
time. Just
Apparently, people were using alchemy to open the door to this dimension, like using like liquids and spells and stuff. The box is just another way to get there.
yeah, you want to give me like a Salem witchcraft type of thing going? I could get down
Ooh.
on that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
like
could
set like in
easily
the
get down on that.
Puritan era, the witch, the
Yeah.
Bavitch, or even like during like the Spanish Inquisition, like
Oh,
Bloodborne, Hellraiser would be sick, dude. Give us
yeah.
like like Prey took
Mm,
place, with the Canadian Native Americans. Like it would be cool to see like a period piece, but with not with the Cenobites. It wouldn't be Penne because he wouldn't have been born yet, but whoever
no,
was in charge at that point. You know what I mean?
correct. And it would take this lament configuration as far as the lore goes and how stoked and steeped it is currently, and it could open it up a little bit, as we always talk about with certain properties and opening them up. In fact, until very recently, I wasn't even aware of Hellraiser comic books.
Yeah, and that's one thing about this deep dive about this lore is that we're kind of sticking to the films, the first four
Mhm.
films, only because there's a lot, like even like a lot of interpretations of this information. Like you can go to the Hellbound Heart, the original Clive-Barker works. Like you said, the comics is just insane. There's a whole bag of lore in regards. So we're just sticking to the box, not necessarily the politics of hell or, you know, Pinhead's actual rank and file amongst that. That's for another lore, another day. But we're just sticking with the films and what
Here,
is the origin?
here,
Yes.
bunch of the demon Cenobites. Ah, you know what I mean? Like the Imperial Senate with Cenobites. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, man. I want to see a Cenobite on trial, dog. Like, what does that look like? You can't hurt me anymore. What do they do? Make you feel better? Give you some Neosporin to heal you up? You
we,
know what I mean?
we will send you back.
We, we will. You will be given Neosporin. You will be
Absolutely.
seen by a physician,
Absolutely.
wound wound care professional.
I like that.
That's so
That's
dumb.
great.
So
Wound care.
wound care professionals in hell, dog. They just make it worse. Please don't touch me. Oh man. Speaking of like just healing things, and making things, like how are these things made? How was the original Lerma shot box made? There's a very interesting story about Philippe de Merchant, who was the French toy maker who was commissioned by an occultist during like the French Revolution, who wanted to open a portal to hell. Didn't tell Le Merchant that. He just told him to make him a sick looking puzzle. He told him to make him a puzzle, no real direction, and it took a lot of research by Philip de Burchall to pull together and make what he called his magnum opus masterpiece, which was just the box, and all it did was a simple function: push the button, and it did his little rotational thingy and went back in. His wife was like, that's fine." He was like, "Are you crazy? This is my life's work. It took me like 17 years to make this thing." And she's like, "Okay, well, homeboy's going to pay us all the money in the world. We're going to live all right." So he goes to the occultist home. It's quickly paid and switched out. And it's like, when you drop pizza off in the wrong neighborhood, you can just tell something bad's going on in the house. You know what I mean? It's like you drop pizza off and you just start hearing gunshots. It's none of my business. I'm just going to go. I'm going to head out. Whatever y'all got going. I got my
Good
Papa
luck,
John's.
buddy.
Yeah, good luck, buddy. But Lemar Shaw started feeling bad. He was like, "I may have accidentally opened a portal to hell. How do I fix this?" Right? And his philosophy teacher was like, "Well, if you open a portal to hell, then you can create a portal to close it, theoretically." So that's when Lemar Shaw tried to figure out a way to create like an anti-puzzle. And this is more like from the lore of Bloodline, the film Bloodline, and things didn't go his way. He got super caught by Angelique and the apprentice of the occultist, and the box was there. And apparently, the box was manufactured at that point, and there were up to like 200 boxes in the world, specifically in Europe during that time. They were just opening portals to hell, and Cenobites are just having a good old time. You know what I mean? So it took a lot of ingenuity. It took a seance to summon Angelique into the spirit of a worker of the night. I would say. I think that's what she was.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, right. And Angelique was born, the first Cenobite, maybe, but not really, because Cenobites aren't demons. You know what I'm saying? They're More
No,
like they're more like union workers, dude.
they're people. They're normal people with a little bit of the dark side in them.
Yeah, just just like me, just like me. I'm not a Cenobite though. Uh, I would be an interesting Cenobite. It's funny, like there's a whole thing about like, well, you can open the box. It used to People used to think that you can, if you open the box, you're becoming a Cenobite. That's not always the case. You kind of
No,
have to want to be a Cenobite. You know what I mean? You can open the box and just get jacked up for all eternity, and that's the story of you. Kind of like Frank, right? Frank didn't become a Cenobite.
no.
He just got sent to his own little personal hell, and that's where
It
he
kind of
was.
and it kind of intent carries a lot
Well,
to do with with
it is not
the
hands that
consequences
summon
of
us.
the consequences of the box. So, if you have the intent of, yeah, what's going on here, you have some pretty good chances of becoming a Cenobite if you can, you know, survive
Uh,
the initial
if you,
initiation.
you're gonna survive it. That won't be the problem.
Uh,
They're gonna keep you up and running, bro.
you're gonna
What
survive.
You're gonna survive it, Doug. And that's one thing I like. It just correlates a lot with our Sith holocron lore because it's very similar, right? If you don't have the desire to open it, it's not gonna open. It's just
Correct.
a toy. It's just a trinket. It's just a something that's interesting. Hold on one second. Well, the amulet is coming from me because I opened the Lament configuration. That's just how it works. But people who are lured into the call of the box, the call of the desire to open it, and a lot of people say that Kirsty wasn't supposed to go, but Kirsty opened it. There was a certain desire to want to open it, and she fell into that. I mean, was she like a pain thirsty sycophant? No, but she was curious, and that's all it takes.
And this is where I was getting at the earlier conversation. It's like you get the box, you can have some sort of commitment to open this box. It's not like you're like, well, this is easy, because
Yeah,
it's really
it's
not that
not.
easy. See,
It
there's
takes
a lot of
hours to
circles
open
and
it.
moving. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
it takes concentration
Yeah.
to get this bad boy open, and it takes want to do it. You know what I mean? It's like playing a FromSoft game. You know what I mean? You're not beating that thing unless you really want to beat it. You
Would,
know, you're not
would,
opening this box unless you really want to beat it.
would you say that the majority of individuals who came across the box knew what they were getting inside the box?
No, because I don't think it's document. Only the knowers, right? Only like Frank didn't know. Frank bought it off some dude in some unknown trade area. What's your pleasure, sir? You know, Frank bought it off some dude. Said it was the next level of sensation. He thought he was going to have like turbo sex or something. You know, that's as far
I
as his
mean,
that's as far as his rational brain could think through. But nah, he was awoken by not by hooks and chains. I don't think people know until I think people think it's going to be pleasure, but people don't realize that they're seeing this through their small human brain, and that sensation goes to have a sensation beyond pleasure and beyond pain is what they're promising you. Not even offering you, they're promising you because it's already there. You open the box, you're going to get it. You know what I mean?
yes,
And
as we discussed, you're gonna
so
survive.
you're going to survive. You're not. There's no death in any of this. You know, even when Frank got torn apart, it's like Jesus wept and all that crazy stuff. He was still there. He just was in pieces now.
No, no,
Yeah,
and then
he's good.
we're gonna convince people to go get the box, come back, kill for the box, make me whole again. Not once, not twice, but three times. I want to say three times this happened, and it's like, yeah, no, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with once you open the box, once you are exposed to the box, whatever consequences comes from the box, and then continually going back to the box.
Well, it's the addiction of pleasure, right? The addiction. You go back to it even though it's not good for you. That's a lot. I think a lot of people can relate to the vice, right? We all have our vices, You go back to something that feels good or feels bad, but you just can't keep going back. So you look at someone like Kirsty, who kept getting put in this situation. It's like, okay, Kirsty, at some point you got to start you got to start thinking like maybe it's you. How are you finding yourself in the and even Pinhead said it like we remember you. You know what I
We
mean? Like
remember you.
what are you doing here?
Like
Like we let you
twice.
slide the last time twice, technically three times if you count the other movie.
Like,
You know what I'm saying?
this isn't an accident, right?
This isn't an accident at this point.
So
What do you
yeah,
want?
no.
You're
And
wasting our time. You know?
and then that's when you start going, well, is this what you're really looking for? Do you even know what you're looking for? Because we have suggestion for you, which
Uh,
brings us to the centuries of the box. I mean, the man
yes,
himself.
the Cenobites, bro. The keepers, not even the keepers, kind of just like the reaction
Host.
to the action. They're the reaction to the action. You know what I mean? They don't feel any kind of way about it. They're not mad. They're not venomous. Though some of them are. It's funny, like the machinations of Cenobites change depending on the person. Like Pinhead was really chill about it. He would bargain with you. Hey, you don't want to have fun with us? Well, you need. If not you, then who? That's from the new one. If not you, then who? You got to swap up. You got to swap out. Remember when Kirsty had to bargain with him? I know where the one who escaped from you is, and they're like, that's impossible. No one escapes us.
No one
Nah,
escapes us.
Frank is out here floating around, smoking cigarettes in a bloody polo.
And,
You know,
yeah,
y'all need to handle that. If I'll feed you, Frank, if you let me slide. And they let her chill, but other Cenobites like Shenard was just psychopathic. He was like Carnage. He was just destroying and killing with wanton violence. So you know
how did the new Hell Priest of 2022 stand up to Pinhead?
that's a tall. It's a tall order to stand up against Doug Bradley, to stand up against that pedigree and that nostalgia. It's just like, man. So I tried to watch it without that in my head. Like, you're no Doug Bradley. That's no way to approach a remake. You know what I'm saying? Because
No.
you're not going to beat it. This is one of my favorite movies of all time, top three. So you're not going to beat it. So I was just like, okay, I'll just be an open mind. And the new Pinhead was almost a little bit more cheekier than him because Doug Bradley started chewing up that role the more times they made him do it. You know what I mean? Especially by the time he got to Hellraiser 3,
I
he was over
mean,
here quoting Bible verses and chopping it
like,
up and laughing.
just that you look at the man and you're just terrified. You see him like at Comic Con, you're like, oh,
Yo, chill out.
terrifying.
Terrified. But the new one was fine. I mean, they were very stoic. I don't think, you know, Cenobites aren't supposed to be kind of evil. They're not evil. They're not good. They're just kind of, they're like, forces of nature. You know what I
I was
mean?
just,
They're there
I
to do
was
a job, you
I was
know?
gonna say they're like the people who show you at your fancy hotel room, like after you park your valet,
Yeah.
the valet takes your car. The people who take you to your room and you're like, I really don't need a tour, but they're like, no, follow me, we got your
Follow me. Let
bag.
me show you. I got your back. Let me show you.
I'm gonna
Let me
show
show you
you
how all this
around.
works.
They show you how to turn on the water, and it's like
Yeah, man.
with
The bed heats
Cenobites,
up. You know what I'm saying? Cenobites is like, hey, welcome to our resort. Here's all of our amenities.
correct.
You
And
ready?
so
You
it's very
ready?
much the same
No.
thing. Yeah, yeah. They're an
They're not.
introductory host.
Yeah, they're introductory host, and here's your room. And I'll get comfortable because you're gonna be here for a while.
They
And
explain the
if you
rules.
they explain the rules, you the puzzle box, you open it, we came. You ordered the room. We are your chauffeurs. That's a very good way to put it, Brian. Like
I, if you saw if you're watching the video and you see I was sitting there trying to think of an analogy that really kind of
that's a
ties it
brilliant.
together. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. It's like angels to some, demons to others, right? I hang on that because it's like they're not demons with pitchforks. You know what I'm saying?
And
but it depends on how you feel. It depends on what you down with, man.
we've all been in a hotel room where we once got to that room, we're like, we don't want this room.
Mm-mm. It's time to
And
go.
so,
Well, you can't get your deposit back. Get comfortable. It's gonna be a long night. You know what I mean? That's what it
right.
is. Some people are like, hell yeah, chain me up, daddy. You know what I'm saying? And some people are like, well, what is this?
Yeah,
Oh,
some
well,
people are like, I'm gonna go walk around the lobby, see what's going on.
yeah.
And so,
Some people are
you
like,
know,
grab your bags. It's time to. No, you can't go. You can't leave. You know, that's what the Cenobites are. They're really just like you said, like the if you're going on the Jungle Cruise, they're the guy steering the boat with the microphone. Hey, this is what's up. You open the box. This is all the stuff it comes with. You know, put your shoes on. It's time to go. You know, you're coming with us now. You know, and it's like as colorful as they are, as evil as they may look, but that may look beautiful to some people. You can't deny that their design is not gorgeous. You know,
oh,
it's you know
I mean, I don't
they're
know
one of
if
the most
gorgeous,
iconic.
iconic is more the
It's
word.
gorgeous. You know, like gore.
Yeah,
It's
I don't know if
gorgeous.
gorge is really the what I'm going
I don't.
for, but that iconic pinhead look, I mean, you don't see that very often. You know what I mean?
No, man. It's truly creative. It's the most creative designs of all time, dog. It's like, hey man, just slap a hockey mask on this dude. Crazy. Hey man, let's just paint this Michael Myers, this William Shatner mask white. Put him in a put you know, and put him in a jumpsuit. That's crazy. I'm gonna sit here and draw this out, and I'm gonna hire someone to create these leather. This like it's almost like Batman armor design. You know, like comic book.
Oh
This
yeah.
almost reminds me of like a comic book suit design. You know what I mean? Like that detailed. You know what I mean? It's
Oh
crazy
yeah.
to think about how hard they went on these characters.
I
And
mean, the guy on the right, can't remember his name, gave me nightmares.
oh, Butterball, yeah, Butterball's not
Butterball.
fair, dog.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Butterball, terrifying, man.
he's the last one on one on me, dog. We assigned you Butterball. Please, though. Can I get anybody else? It doesn't matter, man. Butterball is just he just took a liking to you. Oh no, what does that mean? Butterball. He's been like, hey, can I
Uh,
get him? Yeah, you can get this one, Butterball. Speaking of like getting people getting got, let's talk about the users of the box here. And this is probably my favorite slide because the thing I love about Hellraiser is the people. Like watching Julia slip into madness throughout the first movie is one of my favorite things in the world. And I still hope that Julia is the true villain of Hellraiser and not the Cenobites. They're just like we said, the whole last segment. They're just there to do a job. You open the box. Julia was dragging dudes from the bar and
like
clunking them upside the head to be fed to the resurrected Frank, dude. That woman was
Julia
a
kind of
menace.
went along with it, man. She's
Yeah,
like,
Julia was a
"Oh,
menace, dog.
this is a good idea.
Okay, this gonna get my man back. How many do
I'm
you
in."
need? Like seven? Seven corpses?
Like that's it. We can do
Okay, that's
this.
it. We
It
can do.
sounds reasonable.
And
What?
what's crazy is she never in the first movie she never touched the box. That's wild. The only people who really used the box in the first film was Kirsty, who had no idea what the hell she was doing, and Frank, who knew exactly what he was doing, but bit off more than he could chew, and ended up, at the Terror Dome. You know what I mean? So it's like you mentioned earlier, do these users of the box know what they're in for? And it's like, no, they can't, right? Because your brain can't fathom it,
But
right?
look, Frank right there, it looks to me like he knows what he's in for. You see what I mean? He's got the box. He's like, oh, yeah, we're about to do a puzzle, man, and I'm going to open this thing. And at the end of it, a bunch of rainbows is going to come out.
And
Is
ice
that what was
cream.
supposed to happen?
Yeah, and
Like,
and everything I could ever want, all my dreams are going to come true when I
you
open this
know,
box.
that's not the scene I'm
But
looking at
it
necessarily.
kind of didn't go that way. And that's the part. I think they understand to a level. Like Trinard researched the hell out of the box. I think he even knew about the Cenobites, honestly. But you can think you know what hell is until you're there,
Yeah.
and that's the sting, right? It's like hell is just a word to humans until you're in that reality in it complete. It's like going to war, right? You just everyone says war this, war that, but when your boots on the ground, it's a whole different universe that you're just dropped into, and now it's
And
live or die. You know?
this is why I said at the start, most things I'm in for. Like Starship, cool, man. We're going through a supernova. Gotcha. I'm in. Like Portal to Hell with this little puzzle box possibility. Even if it's a possibility, Mike, I'm kind of like, you can have this. I'm good.
But but you have to know it's a portal to hell.
What's
You
what's
know?
the poisonous fish? The that you can eat
Uh, yeah, the blowfish or something like that.
yeah, the blowfish. You're like, I'm gonna have a little blowfish tonight. And it's like, no, I'm okay. You
Yeah,
eat the
certain things in
blowfish, I'll
life,
pass.
certain things in life. Hey, Mike, you want to jump out of a plane? Not my bad, bro. That's if you like it, I love it. But will I do it? No. I don't need to know that kind of thrill. I'm a simple man. You know what I'm saying?
See,
So, but these people specifically are beyond pleasure. They've done it all. Frank went
and
around the world doing it all, and he got bored.
did the box and I guess this kind of gets to my feeling about it being about a family. In your opinion, did the box end up attaching themselves to this family?
You know what it is? It's kind of a series of unfortunate events. Because what I want to say that Hellbound, the second film, goes directly. Hellraiser 1 goes directly into Hellraiser 2. So they're still dealing with it. And Kirsty's she's in the mental institution. They've confiscated the box. The cops are looking at the blown up house. You know what I mean? And the demon who stole the box brought it back to Kirsty. You're not done here. And then she started having the nightmares of her father. I'm in hell. Help me. He was talking to her through the box. She was like, I gotta go save my dad, dude. My dad is in hell. He's not supposed to be there. And that's the reason. That was her catalyst to jumping
But
back in.
did
She was.
you get to Russian Playboy buying the little box thing at the club, right? You go through
Yeah.
all of that, but the box finds its way back to
Yeah.
this family in
Well,
part
that's in like part five,
four or
Deader.
five, one of the two. I can't.
Deader. There's the
There's
one.
10 of these things, so
It's not. It's not. It's not Inferno because that's the one with the detective. There's one where Kirsty's husband is playing with the box, and we don't find. And the
yes,
movie starts
that
with Kirsty dead. Yeah, the movie starts with
that
Kirsty dead, and they're investigating him for her death. But he's the one playing with the box. And Kirsty promised the Cenobites, take my husband, and I'll give you 9 spirits or whatever, 9 souls. So yeah, it circled back around to her. So I don't necessarily think the box is attached to her. I think she's attached to the box
think she's
because
attached to them. So once you get the call of the box, you
it's
search
kind of
out the
locked
box
in.
subconsciously. Yeah.
But also there's a part in that movie where the husband only dated Kirsty due to her relation of the box. He gave her the box as a birthday present. Hey babe, I got this for you. What is it? And she freaked the hell out. Where the
On
hell
the
did you get
couch.
this?
Yeah, she freaked
Yeah,
out. Yeah.
where the hell did you get this? I thought you would recognized it. Took me hell and back to get this back, but show me how it works. I'm curious. Hell no.
No. Like, and this
Back
is where
to
Pinhead's like, again?
again. Why am I seeing you again? Obviously, I can't do anything. You're wasting all of our time, dude. Kirsty really, Kirsty and see, and then you go back to let's say it has the box attach itself to this family. We talk about the Lemerchants in Hellraiser Bloodline, which traced them from the Spanish Inquisition, the French Revolution to year 23, whatever,
Yeah.
in the Turbo future, right? It's like Lemerchant, Lemerchants have always dreamt of the box. Every single male in the Lemerchant bloodline has dreamt of the box
I
to the
did not
point,
know that.
yeah. So they were kind of cursed in a way where the box kept calling to the young males to create another box. That's why in the present day, because there's three time periods in that movie. There's the past, the present, and the future. In the present, it's the young architect. I think his name is like Merchant, like Phil, like John Merchant. And he has a wife, he has a kid, and he's a famous architect. But he's designing an exhibit in his building that looks just like the box, and they're going to use that as a conduit to create a big hole for hell to come through, which is dumb because
Right.
the Cenobites never really wanted to take over Earth or anything like that. They just wanted to get their souls to be out. You know, they were
Yeah,
never
we're
about
not
let's
talking about.
conquer the Earth. They're not
Yeah, we're
orcs, though. You know?
we're not talking about the premises of Hellraiser because that's a little different. But yes, in retrospect, and yeah, you're like, why are you doing this, bro?
Yeah,
Making a building. It, all right,
like he was subconsciously making it, which is crazy.
subconscious.
But then again, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of way too coincidental that he designed it that perfect without knowing his own family history. You know what I mean?
And and I didn't. First two things, I didn't realize there were 200 boxes. I knew there were a number of boxes. I did not know there were 200 of them.
Yeah, and
So
they're different versions of it. Like they're not all square boxes. Some of them look completely different, made by different cultures and different people who got visions of making a portal. You know what I mean?
So it would be interesting to explore, like he's doing it subconsciously from the box. So there's an
Yeah,
attachment there, from the great, 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 great granddad, great, fantastic. That much we know. But how did the box attach themselves to these people and these families? What deal was made behind closed doors that's like, yeah,
it's
we're going over
interesting
here.
because
So,
I wish I knew of more people. Like the outlier of all this is the news is the news
the remake.
correspondent in
Oh,
three in three
oh, yes.
and Hell
Jenny,
on Earth.
Jennifer, the
Jennifer, I think.
it's that her name?
Um,
Like,
I think her name was like
uh,
Jennifer
Terry,
and Terry. No,
Terry.
Terry. Yeah,
Yeah.
because her camera guy was Hulk Hogan. Um, camera guy was just like Hulk Hogan, but she had no real bloodline ties. She kind of just came across it through, like you said, the bad boy club owner that bought it because he thought it looked cool. He bought the pillar that was created in
Pillar.
Hellbound. He bought the
Yeah.
pillar and was seduced by Pinhead to release him to play with the box. He was seduced, slowly but surely feeding the pillar souls to unleash Pinhead. You know what I mean? And Terry just happened to be friends with. Oh, this is the saddest part of the movie. Like her girlfriend that she kind of just takes under her wing, but has nowhere to go. She ends up becoming a Cenobite. You know what I'm talking about? The goth girl with the black hair. She burnt breakfast, dog. And it's like she that kid had users of the box, right? That kid had no chance of getting out that situation, dog.
Wrong
You
place,
know
wrong time, man. Wrong place, wrong
that's
time.
but the box says we don't. It's not hands that summon us. It's desire, dog. You know what I'm saying? It's not hands that summon us. So
Do you
I think you're
have
gonna think
a Lament configuration that they came out with, one of the boxes? Because they did make some collector boxes of this. Do you have one?
one of my nerd rules is not to own a box
See?
because one of my nerd rules, and I've thought about this for a very, 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 very long time. I would never own a Lament configuration. Funny. I take that freaking back. Where is it? I got one as a gift, and
Ah.
I got what it was. The box finds you, right?
The box
Uh,
came to you, I see.
the box came to me. I'm not making this up. It was a
Oh,
it was it is a candy holder. It's a candy jar, but it's shaped like the Lament configuration. And you pop the top, and I would kill. I don't know what I did with that thing. I may have buried it because it was freaking me out. It's not in direct line of sight. I don't know what I did with it, Brian. It's in a
Just
box.
in case.
Yeah,
I
it's a
understand.
way. I put it in a brick of cement, like in a hell
Uh-huh.
on earth. But
That's
yeah, when I was a
hilarious.
kid, I would go to Universal Studios and would go to Universal City Walk, and I would go to the comic book store, Things from Another World, plug, check them out, and they would have a replica box in the window. And as a kid, my dad was like, "You want that?" I was like, I would just go, mm-mm. No words, just shake hand, let's keep pushing. Because that thing
No,
terrifies the hell out of me. And
no,
I
it's,
got it as a gift, bro. And I'm like, what do I do with the? Just don't, just don't.
just, just don't be sitting around going, "Oh, I wonder how
Just
this works." And then,
you know,
it's the exact same reason I don't like an Annabelle doll. I see them and I'm like, I'm out.
yeah. I don't want a
Y'all
Ouija
have a good
board,
day.
bro. I don't want none of that
No,
energy in my
we're
house,
good.
dog.
We're good, man.
So
Anyway,
we got to rank this thing, dog.
yeah.
On a rank from, what was our ranking, like 0 to 5? Oh
S
yes,
tier,
yes,
S A
S.
B C D F,
Excuse me. Yes,
I
S
believe.
as in multiversal threat to D, or like, let's say F as in completely harmless, no power, fun to look at. What would you rank the Lament Configuration
I
of
have
all
given
time?
this. Yes, I have given this actually some thought this week, and I'm going to give this box a solid A as like a
Mm.
lore power ranking. This box is quite freaking terrifying. It's so terrifying, in fact, that you are a real human being that got a candy version of it, not even the box, and you're like, yeah, I don't really want anything to do with this. So this is where this box comes in for me, because once you grab the box, no one ever puts the box down, right?
Nah,
And if you're
you're in.
if once you get it, if you're not going to put it down, the only alternative is to open it. And as we started with, opening it leads to nothing good, in my opinion. So for me, it's a solid A.
We're gonna have to fight because we unified our score to come with a score that we both could be happy with. We have to do the
Yeah.
same thing. And for me, I gave it a C.
A
Gave it a
C.
C. Let me
A C.
explain. A C. Mind you, this is my third to second favorite movie of all time. I love Hellraiser. I've quoted it on this channel for over 7 years now. We have such sights to show you. But my train of thought on the box is it's not a multiversal threat. The box is a very personal threat to you, not to the whole world. The Cenobites, or the Leviathan itself, is never out to conquer the world. It doesn't want to take anything over. It doesn't want to destroy cities. It wants you. It wants specifically you. Open the box. You're responsible for the reaction that it causes. We came. Our job is to take you on the roller coaster, and then that's it. It closes up and waits for the next poor soul who happens across it. If you dropped a box in the middle of a stadium, probably one person is going to get roughed up, maybe a group of people, but it's not a nuke. It's not going to change. That's what makes it so dangerous. It's that it's not going to change the world. But if you come across it, you're gone. You're going to be seduced by it. And they're going to come and they're going to take you to their house of fun. And if you're really good, you get to be one of them. But it's not like the Avengers are going to fight this thing. You know what I mean? Just if you're smart, you put it in the basement with the other trinkets and just don't touch the damn thing. You'll be
I
fine.
see where I see what you're getting at. And yeah, I understand that it's not going to get up and walk away on two legs. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah,
going to proactively fight you. But without the box, the entire series doesn't even exist.
that's lore importance, not lore power. Like, mind you, think of the box as a keyhole in a door, and the door leads to the infinity, but you can only see through that keyhole. If you were to open that door And Unleash Hell, yeah, that's a multiversal threat, but that's not what the box is designed to do. It's designed for very personal interactions with souls who have the desire to understand. It's not
This
like a gateway to hell and dragons and bats are gonna fly through and it's over, game over. It's not that.
this one box jacked up like 25 people
Countless people over time, dog.
over time, countless. This one box.
Yeah.
It's a box. It doesn't have a gun. It doesn't have like it's not proactive. It is literally a box and it's a toy.
Is it dangerous? Extremely. But for you.
but but that's
But
important.
nobody, that's super important. That
Don't
is
you
the
think that's
distinguishing,
important?
that's a distinguishing
like
thing.
like
You
important to
know?
me versus important to
Like
what? As opposed to
it's
important
just,
to the world? I
what are you
mean,
gonna do?
I can't quite come down to a C, man. Like
Meet
it's
me,
not.
meet
I,
all right.
I
C is
look.
C is
I
harsh, and I
can.
love this thing. I love this thing to death, bro.
C
But
is harsh.
power,
C.
but it's not
You were not.
powerful.
Once you
It's
pick
not.
it up, you can. Mike, you have a candied version of one, and you hit it.
I don't like it. Okay, think of it this way: the Sith Holocron got a B plus, right? Got like a B plus, right?
Yes, because of the power it can contain,
Yeah,
depending on user.
yeah, depending on user. But that power is then externalized. It
It
feels Sith
can,
A, and it's externalized throughout the galaxy, right? And that's a problem because that one Sith can militarize a planet, a galaxy, a solar system, and just be a threat, right? But the box internalizes it. It pulls you in. It once you go in and you're in the house of fun, it's not bothering nobody else. It just rattles and
and
settles back
Mike,
down.
I can open the box and then be like, "Oh, I don't want to play," but you can go talk to Mike G. I heard he wants to play instead,
Then that's a problem
and
for me.
I get a chance to give a persuasive argument, and then all of a sudden it's a problem for you, and you
Yeah,
did not know anything about it.
but how
How?
is that?
How is
How does
that
that
a
affect?
C?
How does that
How does that
affect
affect
the
you?
multiverse, though?
Well, it doesn't necessarily affect the multiverse, but you're just sitting there minding your own business in bed, and a bunch of chains come flying out of nowhere and take your
Okay,
ass in.
okay. I won't give it a C. Maybe that is a bit harsh, but I can't do
There's
an
nothing.
A because
I won't
A
do a
is like
multiverse,
Infinity
but
Gauntlet. A
but
is like an
there's
Infinity Gauntlet, dog.
but if you already got A as an infinity gauntlet, like why you know what I mean? Like that needs to be there as like is this as powerful as the infinity gauntlet? No. But can it bring a bunch of bad dudes in your bedroom
It's
uncalled
a
for, unasked? Because
no
I made a
asked.
persuade.
No
I,
asked.
I
You
was
asked them
like,
that.
ooh,
You invited them
oh,
in.
and then I'm like, you know what? Mike G really has one of these things. I think he might have got it from you. And they're like, oh, all right, we're going to go see him. If it works out, you're free to go.
But
I
that's not
mean,
always a solid thing.
that's
They could
not
be like
multiversal, but it
they could be
is a
like
threat.
but they could be like, nah, we want you though. Just like the female Cenobite was like, what if we want you? And then like
What
Kirsty's
if
like,
you've never
hey,
seen a lament configuration in the form of a candy dish before? What if that breaks a rule?
what if that
What if they're
breaks a
not supposed
rule?
to use like that, Mike?
I can't give it an A, dog. So
All right, well,
are we back to
you got to
B?
come up.
Are we back to
I
B?
I can go with a B minus because of your multiversal statement, but given enough time and probably a text later on if I decide to have a cocktail, I may think of a multiversal threat.
Yeah, like the only time this thing becomes a multiversal threat is like in Hellraiser Bloodline. If they would have really opened up a giant hole to the you know what I'm saying into the pain verse, yeah, Earth would be finished. but that's not its real function. That's not its
Not
goal.
to not to mention, I can die on like a mattress and be
Yeah,
brought back to life and have other people go kill people. It's definitely a world threat, bro. Like you can do some damage with this thing. So nah, I'm in solid B category.
you know what it
B
is.
category.
You know what it is, and I think I'm gonna meet you at a B. But what it is that we've yet to see. Maybe it's in the comics, but no one has ever weaponized a lament configuration.
No. But with
I can't
200
think
of
of.
them
I
out
can't.
there, you have to imagine that someone would, and that's where when you said that number, it's like, oh man, that could be a problem. If we were talking one or two, fine, but 200 of these things cruising around.
Think about it like as an allegory for drugs, right? If one person was on crack, that's a problem. When 200 people are on crack, that's a big problem. When
Or 200
2,000
in a
people,
bad batch.
yeah. So I mean, I could, especially around the time when they were just floating around, and the thing to do was have it in lament configuration. Yeah, I could see that being ultimately problematic for the world. But even a world threat, it's not a galaxy threat. It's not a multiverse. It's not a universal threat. It's not a multiversal threat.
No, it's a
But it is
world threat.
powerful as hell for what it does. But what I'm saying is that it's a power that's mostly contained to the person, not
I mean,
to the threat of everyone. You know,
yeah,
unless you come
I.
across it. So
But
I'll
and you
meet
can
you with
sick
the.
it on people,
Hmm?
and you can sick it on people, man. You can't sick a Sith
What were you saying,
holocron
Brian?
on anybody. You can sick it
Well,
on
I will
people.
fill this air while Brian jumps back in, and I may just be talking over him.
What did I drop?
What? Nah, it may have been on my end. No worries.
Oh, all right.
What were you saying?
I was just saying you can't sick a Sith holocron on someone. You can't open a Sith holocron and be like, "Yeah, go fight him." You know what I mean? I don't know. I think
It's a tough thing,
it these are why we have these conversations. So I
and
will
and I
meet you at
love
a
it.
B
Let's
minus,
let's
up
go
for
B
debate.
minus. Let's go B minus. You know what? It's Hellraiser. I'm gonna shoot it some
No,
bell. Let's go a B.
I'm no, I'm gonna let you think about your decision, and you will text me later and apologize to the community. You're gonna think about it and be like, "Yeah, man, I think
But
a
it's just
B
not
minus is a little light."
a B. I can live with a B
A B,
because
okay.
if you get this thing, you're gone. But even if you were to airdrop it, let's say at a stadium full of people, maybe one or two people to get knocked out, but that turns. But how many people, how many lives have been taken by the configuration? Just this one box, like you mentioned, over the eons or the hundreds of years that it's been in rotation. So yeah, that's a problematic, powerful little thing. So and it
It's
opens
a
a gateway.
box.
It's a
It's a toy.
box. It's a toy. It was made by a toy maker
The line.
with a bunch of
It's a toy.
scraps in a cave with a bunch of scraps. All right. So currently
Why
we
are
have
toys
two
so scary? I
because they're
just
for
thought about this.
kids.
Why are all toys so scary, man? I mean, we could do many podcasts on toys that are terrifying.
Yeah, because I think toys are made for the enjoyment of kids, but once you grow up, you realize like I don't know. It's like watching Looney Tunes as an adult. It's terrifying. You know what I mean? As a kid, your brain can't wrap around it. It's like clowns, right? As a kid, a clown is fun, and they give you candy. As an adult, you're like, this is a grown ass man who's decided to do this with his life, and you're like, that's kind of strange.
I don't have any issues with clowns. I actually know a couple of clowns. I do have issues with clowns that hang out in weird places. You know what I mean? They're just like, I'm going to be a creepy clown to be a creepy clown. And they're just
Yeah.
standing at the end of the street. That I have an issue with because it's
Hey,
just unnecessary.
all in moderation, man. I'm not sitting here demonizing clowns, right? I have a fear, but I know there's some really nice, good clowns out there who are doing the clown's work and want to make people smile. But like you said, there's that clown at 3 o'clock in the morning at the gas station who's just standing there to bug people out. That person that doesn't have your best interest in mind.
No.
Don't go up to them. If they walk towards you, get in your car. Just matter of
Same
fact,
as
if you're at, you know,
same as someone gives you a puzzle box and goes, "Here, play with this." Say no.
what's your pleasure, sir? What did he say? He was like, "Oh, why are you giving it to me for free? Is it mine?" He's like, "It always was." The next thing you know, your t-shirt's off and you sit in a circle full of candles, and you're opening a nuke. You're pretty much opening the roof of a nuke right in front of your face, and you get to get with
Oh,
that
who
for
are
all you.
you?
Oh, hey, what are you doing here?
Who's me? Mm.
You'll summon us. Okay, what's that? Hook.
I thought there were rainbows. Sorry.
No, there are no rainbows, only suffering. All right.
All
Can I
right.
leave? No. Okay.
That's
where
fine.
do I where do I sign up? Next thing you know, you got the chatterer putting his fingers in your mouth, and you're going to have a bad time.
Oh.
Oh man, good episode, good episode. So Brian Wash himself, where can we find you?
You can find me over at Wash's Shop on eBay and Brian J. Wash over on X, formerly known as Twitter. Why do we treat
Absolutely
X
follow
like
him.
it's Prince?
It's Twitter, dog. It's Twitter until it's not. It's Twitter until it just shuts down. To me, I'm never
Can't be
calling it
far
X.
off.
Can't be. Give it till 2030, bro. Just give it till 2030. We got time. Yes. So what's coming up on the channel? This episode's coming up. Episode's coming up soon. Don't want to date the episode. MOTN Live. Please show up for MOTN Live. There's There's punch and pie and wackiness and guests and Brian's there and Tootie's there, and sometimes we have people in chat. So just come and join the festivities. I might wear a mask next time, depending on how I feel. Next episode after this one, we were going to review the Joker sequel, but we all know how that went. So now we're currently scrambling for content. So you'll get to see how things go over the next few weeks. That being said, please visit our website, mastersofthenerdiversecast.com, where all of our episodes are stored. You can find our live videos on YouTube. You can also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you listen to your podcasting needs. Any last words, Brian, before we close the box once and for all?
Thanks for having me. Pleasure. Thanks for watching. And yeah, leave some comments below about what your thoughts on the Lament configuration and whether you would play with the puzzle box.
Let us know if you were playing with the puzzle box. Give us some lore that we missed. What did we miss? What? Give us some cool story about some Neanderthal who opened the box and a T-Rex came out. I don't know. The comics are crazy. There's crazy stuff in the comics. So leave a comment. Please like this episode and subscribe. I've of course been your host, Mike G, and I would always like to tell you that knowledge is power, and to grab you a object of power when you can. Take care.